morning, everyone. How are we? I'll take that as a not too bad. Welcome and good morning to SCA Conference 2021, everyone. Great to be in your company. Great to be anywhere other than in 2020. Welcome back to normal. Well, as normal we can be, I guess, based on last year's dramas and episodes, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you about what transpired and what continues to transpire, I guess, right throughout the country and the world, but more importantly, what we can control right here, right now. We've got a few protocols to go through, obviously, in regards to COVID-19 and the safe plan in place, but great to have a bunch of good-looking people here again for another year. My name's Richard Champion, delighted to be your MC, and I'm back for my third time, and I appreciate you inviting me back. Thank you so much. It has been a couple of years, but great to see so many familiar faces, and a few have come up and said hello already. As I mentioned, it's 2021 conference, hashtag SCA Queensland and hashtag Imagine Strata. Any social media that you wish to post out over the next couple of days, guys, please hashtag that. We've got a couple of little competitions as well that we can add those into, which might benefit you as we go forward. For those who don't know my background, I'm an AFL legend. For those who don't know the truth, you won't know the difference anyway. It's all good. Let's just roll with that. My career started just across the road there at Carrara. I played my first game for the Brisbane Bears, as we were back then, back in 1991. It's such a long time ago now. But great memories of the Gold Coast. And this place was just being built then. So when this was happening, I loved my golf and the golf courses, and we saw the view from up on the Lights Tower, what was happening around this area. It was very exciting. And here we are, 30 years later. And this place is buzzing, and great to have such a great vibe. I've got my good mate Chris Helder will be presenting to you a little bit later on, and he's excited to be back to a live audience. We've had a lot of virtual audiences with conferences, but I do commend SCA for having the courage and commitment to actually have an in-person conference again. We've got visitors from Victoria, from New South Wales, from the ACT, and other parts of Australia. So welcome to you, and let's hope there's no emergency lockdowns in the next 24 hours, right? We've had enough of that. One of my mates was so bored in Victoria when he got locked out, he went outside his front door, knocked on it, went back in and said, "Who is it?" It's been really challenging for everyone, this whole COVID thing. So just to let you know, that bad joke of mine and everyone else's presentations will be videoed today. So just mind your P's and Q's, make sure the hair's looking good, all that sort of stuff, because we will be keeping that forever. That's pretty much how we roll. All right, acknowledgement to country, ladies and gentlemen. Jingaree, we acknowledge and pay respects to the Ugamba people of the Gold Coast and all of their descendants, both past and present. We also acknowledge the many Aboriginal people from other regions, as well as Torres Strait and South Sea Islander people who now live in the local area and have made an important contribution to our community. As I mentioned, good to be back to normal, and if you're a glass half full person, you would see the positive sides of this. There's been some massive negatives, we know that. A lot of people have lost businesses, livelihoods, etc. A lot of people have actually done pretty well out of it, because we've had to learn to adapt and potentially grow your business in a way that you never really thought of before. I've done a couple of small conferences over the last couple of months, and I tried to come up with a quote that encapsulates, I guess, some positivity out of this. And it could just be the correct dose of tough love required to benefit mankind and generations, to come. And by that I mean that we've had to learn to adapt on the run. We've had to learn to use technology in a way that we haven't used it before. We really have to think on our feet and expect changes to happen. And a lot of people have learnt to do business in a different way, and economically it's been a lot sounder for them as well, and they've done very well. I hope your business has got through okay, and I know that the tourism sector's done it pretty tough. There's been times there's some buoyancy. Real estate's going through the roof at the market. We really didn't know how things were going to pan out, and we won't for probably a fair few months yet. But I wish you all the best, and thank you very much for your assistance and coming along today. Just a bit of housekeeping as well, guys, just in case of an emergency. Please follow directions from the venue and SCA Queensland staff. Exits are clearly marked, and our emergency exit plan is straight out the glass doors, out through the exhibitors area and onto that large grassed area there. There's plenty of room. To non-smoking venue, of course, and bathrooms are located out through the exhibitors area, both to the left and right. COVID-19 protocols, we've got to go through it, guys. We've heard them a million times. We have to scan and QR check everywhere we go these days, but obviously for contact tracing, it's imperative. So SCA Queensland has taken all necessary precautions to provide a safe conferencing environment. Please ensure you adhere to government health directions and adhere to physical distancing rules, 1.5 metres apart from others where possible. We will keep your details from the QR code for 56 days, and if requested, this information must be provided to public health officers. The information will be securely stored via the QR provider. If you do fall sick in the next week or two, please consult a health practitioner and inform the SCA Queensland office immediately. Otherwise, wash your hands, sneeze into your inner elbow and stay safe. All the usual stuff that we've learnt over the last 12 months. A conference like this is not possible without major support from some fantastic partners and sponsors of ours. So altogether, BCB, BuildCheck, CHU and Strata Max are our premium conference sponsors. A big, massive round of applause for those guys in particular. Thank you. Our funding support sponsor, Destination Gold Coast, and we also like to acknowledge our conference sponsors, Grace Lawyers, Macquarie Bank and Poolworks. Our conference pods sponsor, Advanced Buildings, Hum Energy, Lamnock, Strata Finance, Solutions in Engineering, Strata Loans, OPAT, ResView, Strata Vote, ThyssenKrupp, QIA Group and Starcorp Energy. Our Relax and Revive sponsor from the Usher Group, thank you guys. Our lanyard sponsors, Higgins, our conference beach bag, CHU, our coffee cart, which got smashed this morning, I know that, Program Property Service, our gelato cart from Express Glass, our keynote speakers, BCB, Kelly and Partners and Phillips Safety Service. Our passport prize, Dulux, I'll tell you about those prizes very soon. Our pen sponsor, QBM, our water bottle sponsor, Asset Project Management, and our happy hour and a half, which is nice, isn't it? That extra half an hour could make a massive difference. Chambers, Russell and Flex Insurance, and finally, the awards and conference dinner sponsor, Macquarie Bank. Please, a massive round of applause for all of our sponsors and supporters. So just on that, while we're in the groove for our happy hour and a half, that'll be happening after our conference finishes this afternoon in the exhibitors area there. In your little pack, you would have received all sorts of information, including your lanyard and tickets to the conference dinner tomorrow night and our happy hour and a half. Now, if you read through those instructions there, throughout our breaks today or throughout any time that you see fit, if you see James and Frank around, all you have to do is just take a selfie with them and hashtag it, obviously with our hashtags that I mentioned before. I think we may have a little slide of that, guys. Have we got that up there? But it's pretty much what I mentioned before. Let me have a quick look here on your little blurb, but it's on your ticket. Hashtag Chambers Russell and hashtag Flex Insurance. Take a selfie and post it to social media, hashtag SCA Queensland. There's 10 luxury gin party baskets to win, so worthwhile, guys, and we will be drawing that out in our exhibitors area after our 1.5 hours of happy hours, hour and a halves. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now, there's been a little bit of a confusion about our conference dinner tomorrow night. This is the ticket that was in your pack if you have registered and locked that in. A few people didn't know, apparently. Some of the SCA staff have mentioned a few people when they registered, they weren't sure whether they'd registered for the dinner or not. If you're unsure, please check with the registration desk and make sure your name is ticked off. You will need a ticket to enter. Obviously, due to COVID and tracing everything else, we need to know who's coming and who's there. You must be booked in. So we can't have just people rocking up saying, oh, you know what, I might go to the dinner and I'll bring old mate and old mate as well. We can't. We've got limited numbers, guys, so we have to be registered for that dinner. You must need a ticket for entry. We will be ticking things off at the entrance, okay? Any questions, please see our staff if you are unsure about that. Now, speaking of which, SCA Queensland grows in professionalism every single year, and you are now acknowledged and consulted by all levels of government, and we are regularly quoted in the media on issues that matter in Strata. The awards for excellence demonstrate the high calibre of professionals working in your industry, but recognition, education and advocacy are not the only things that matter to a professional industry. The way in which its professionals are treated by clients and colleagues is the true measure of professionalism. SCA will be taking things to the next level this year and will be pursuing two major initiatives for better treatment of strata managers. Number one is how to treat our professionals, and this is a campaign for raising awareness and setting standards for conduct towards strata managers, and a bystander policy as well, to assist innocent bystanders to become active for positive change in respect to discrimination and harassment. Professionals deserve to be free from all types of harassment, especially unwanted sexual harassment, and SCA Queensland will not tolerate sexual harassment of its members, full stop. This is an industry that protects and empowers its own, and this must start with how we treat each other. For example, at events such as our 2-day conference right now, you are an industry of professionals. Let's all make a commitment to treat each other professionally at all times, even when we're enjoying ourselves at night. And don't forget, don't be an innocent bystander to unwanted sexual advances. If you see something, say something, and if you're affected, your first port of call in confidence is the Executive Officer, Katrin Watson. Together with HR Business Assist member benefit partner SCA Queensland is currently creating a guide for employees to deal with bullying, harassment and discrimination in the workplace, available to SCA Queensland corporate members next month. There will also be a guide for employers to use to educate their own staff on what isn't acceptable behaviour and how to respond to it. All right, so it's a very serious topic. You only have to switch on the news every morning to find out what's happening in the political sector, in the forces sector, in every sector of our workforce. There's a lot of it going on, and it really needs to stop. There's a lot of things we have to attend to right now, and that's just one of them. COVID threw up a lot of curveballs, but there's always these other things that we have to address. So it's a very serious topic. Alrighty. Now it's my pleasure to invite SCA Queensland Executive Officer Katrin Watson to the stage to give an update on the operation aspects of the year that was. So please welcome Katrin.
Gold on the ceiling, I ain't blind, just a matter of time.
Good morning and welcome to Inception, Imagination, Innovation. The title we chose for this year matches the experience of a year with a pandemic. The last ones to hold a conference in 2020, if you were there, and we are actually, in fact, the first ones after, and I'm pleased to say we've got 20% more people than last year here. If you don't call that a leading sector, creeping out of COVID like that, then I don't know what you would call it. SCA Queensland is now 38 years old, and we have seen the most rapid developments in that time, in particular in the last 10 years. And what I want to show you this morning is how your member body has pivoted, the lovely word from last year, and what SCA Queensland's role is now in 2021. Membership has tripled over the last 15 years, and our activities have undoubtedly become far more complex and varied. You can see the data in your registration pack scorecard. In only 2.5 years, since 2018, our membership has grown by 14%, revenue by 22%, events that we hold, you hopefully have noticed, by 34%, and awards categories have doubled to 10. Event registrations have doubled, and member communications are up 50%. I'm sorry if you feel you've been spammed. And that is just in 2 years. But there is, so it seems, far more room for growth, as our recent CBD seminars have proven. In the month of February, we had 810 registrations to 7 webinars in the space of 2 weeks. We had a little bit less than that in the space of 12 months, 5 years ago. So apart from the numbers and the obvious change in size of our operations, 2020 is the year where many would say we rose to our full potential, where we demonstrated our strength to members and really took our place as trusted industry experts with the relevant government departments. What we did really well was garner the ability to unite the sector. We got our volunteers to gather their expertise to find a common ground on which to operate as a collective across the whole industry for the clients that you service. Our information material depended heavily on the content expertise of some outstanding SCA members, most of them on the board, but some on our committees. It supported all of our membership, and this is, in my opinion, the strength that we have as an industry organisation. I'm very proud to say that we have now over 60 active volunteers and many working groups, and I'm proud that we keep growing this engagement with you. The pop-up seminars, the best practice guides, the social media alerts, they have all contributed to a year where SCA Queensland found its niche, reconfirmed the purpose that the board had identified the year before and was preparing to launch, believe it or not, as a body that helps members in their day-to-day operations, servicing clients. SCA Queensland has changed in those 12 months, and so has the industry. Our voice, I believe, is loud and clear. The government has responded to our election priorities, one of the major wins of 2020, and we will see progress for the lot owners of Queensland and industry professionals, which our Attorney General will shortly address. As a membership organisation, we're here for members, and while the government advocacy work is imperative to support the sector's growth, we also know we need to provide direct, tangible member benefits bit by bit. So in 2020-2021, we built the Awards for Excellence on top of our credentials for an accreditation framework that will be expanded this year. We gave members access to human resource advice via the HR Business Assist program and the access to a member assistance program in partnership with Acacia EAP. This year, we are launching a new placement program for students of Bond University. They will be here tomorrow from 10:30 in the exhibitor area, and you are absolutely welcome to talk to them, but we'll talk about it in the morning a bit more. On that note, Richard acknowledged all of our conference sponsors, and of course I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of our corporate sponsors who are there the whole year. They contribute a pretty big chunk of funds to make all of these events like the conference happen. Thank you to our Platinum corporate partners, Macquarie Bank, Grace Lawyers, CHU, Body Corporate Brokers, Stratamax, Altogether, Chambers Russell Lawyers, and BuildCheck. And I would also like to thank our member benefit partner, HR Business Assist, our gold partners, Higgins Coatings, Program Property Services, Poolworks, and our silver and bronze sponsors for all of their contributions and support throughout the year. So lastly, in the spirit of innovation, let's celebrate the now, the 2 days of education, and then we will dive into the next stage of maturity, and who knows what that will be, and what all of us together are capable of in the year to come. So welcome to the conference, enjoy.
Gold on the ceiling. I ain't blind, just a matter of time before you steal it.
Thank you, Katrin. As Katrin mentioned, record numbers, 311 at the conference during the day, 360 for dinner tomorrow night. So the numbers are huge. So again, thank you so much for your support. Very much appreciated. Young lady that I've been dealing with over the last couple of months as well as Katrin is Helen, who got married in October. I'm not sure that she's in the room right now, but we just hope that AV works right throughout the day, because if not, she's quickly uploaded all of her wedding photos and videos, and we will have to put through that if things don't work out. So fingers crossed, it's all good. She's very excited about it still, obviously with her and Matt being a newly wedded couple. So good luck with everything going forward. Thank you guys for your help this afternoon. All right. Let's hear from the Prez, our SCA Queensland President, James Nickless. Now, James, of course, from Chambers Russell, current SCA Queensland President, and has served on the Legislation and Policy Committee of SCA Queensland since 2013, so 8 years been on board, specialises in all aspects of strata law, and James is passionate about advancing the strata industry. Please welcome James.
Hey, roll over DJ, you're spinning away all my time. Hey, who cares what you play? Say whatever you say, 'cause I don't mind. Hey, roll over DJ, if you don't.
What a year. I mean, it feels like it was last week, and it also feels like it was about 5 years ago when we were all together. And within days of last year's conference, the world descended into the pandemic that we've just had. I can remember people's phones pinging around the conference last year as all of the events that were planned soon thereafter were falling over. And I think we got last year's conference in by the skin of our teeth, and thankfully we got it in sort of hassle-free, which was fantastic. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for supporting us last year, for continuing to support us through the year, and for showing your support again, turning out in record numbers this year. It says a lot about our industry that we can face a challenge like that, and we can come out of it with more members, with more sponsors, and with the level of participation that we've had. It's just truly inspiring. So just thank you all. I also want to thank people for the contribution that they made. So Katrin spoke very well about some of the things that we achieved. Last year was a massive year of achievement for us. We had an advocacy campaign that was very intense, but resulted in some really important commitments made by the government, not the least of which is to continue to work with SCA in the future around licensing and regulation of strata managers, which is something that we've been pushing for an incredibly long time. We had the new regulations finally, after many extensions, be delivered, and everybody's very excited to get into the new regulations after them becoming effective the other day on March the 1st, I'm sure. But what was just so inspiring about our industry was the fact that we had this challenge, and in many other industries that would cause people to pull apart. But what I saw, not just at SCA level, but out into the community, was our members coming together, sharing knowledge and information, and creating information packs for our members to then assist their schemes with that were just second to none. So for everyone that was on a committee, anyone that was on the board, people that contributed their time when they didn't have the time to commit, particularly to create the guides and the webinars that we had around COVID, which was changing all the time. I think there was about 10 different iterations of that document. A lot of blood, sweat and tears went into that. But I also want to thank Katrin and her team, because with all the great ideas in the world, nothing happens unless somebody actually puts that into action. And the quality of those documents, both in terms of the content, but also the way that they were put together and the timeliness that they went out. Changes made in the morning, by the next day, those documents were going out updated, and that helped you guys look good to your clients. So it's just a massive year of commitment from everyone that I'm incredibly proud of. So everyone kind of thought, how can anything get worse than last year? Well, my year started off with spinal surgery, so I'll let you know how the rest of it goes. But look, we've got, I think, the luckiest end of things, to be honest. You know, Queensland didn't have as big an impact as other parts of the country. Anywhere you look, there are cranes on the horizon. Everyone I speak to is as busy as they've ever been, and we're in an industry that supports each other and advocates for each other and for our clients as well. So some of the commitments that I made last year when I spoke to you was that we were going to continue on the advocacy front, and we were going to push for legislative change, and we've been doing that. The other thing that I said that we would do is that we wouldn't wait for government, and that we would continue to educate ourselves. We would continue to make changes that don't require legislation. And as Katrin referred to earlier, that's where things like our member assistance program, HR Assist, and this year's initiatives around how to treat our members. You can't walk around a hospital without seeing a sign that says, this is how you're supposed to treat the professionals in the hospital. We want the same for strata managers. We are professionals, we deserve to be treated like professionals, and it all starts with us. And with that, I will welcome Richard back. We're very happy to have Richard back again, one of our favourite MCs, and he will introduce the Honourable Attorney General.
Hey, roll over DJ, you're spinning away. All right.